version. What's up, YouTube? Today I'll be revealing the DJverse lore I asked creator about and sharing his responses. So, let's get started. First question, how do the surviving nations react when they hear DJR was saved? Creator's response, there were no surviving nations besides the restoring Roland. Next, does Roland rebuild cities destroyed by the Oltowars? Yes. And so it goes. Through the post-Oltowars era and beyond, does Conlon create a new anti-Oltu defense program? Answer, it wasn't saved at the time, but it would be if it was. Conlon would end up being saved in the late war. Question, does Bouchon become the leader of the post-war alliance? Answer, it was not saved then, and would be saved even later than Conlon. Question, do smaller countries fear another Oltu invasion? Answer, they were not saved yet either, but they absolutely would if Roland saved them. Question, does the French Republic create stronger military technology? Answer, they were not saved. Question, do nations compete for DB protection? Answer, not saved. Question, do some countries believe JD is becoming too powerful? Answer, Roland does not believe that. Matter of fact, they think he's an underdog compared to those big abominations. Question, is there a political conflict after the war? Answer, no. The people help recover and rebuild because other wars would be pointless. Question, who controls the rebuilt territories? Answer, in this timeline only Roland, because it's the only surviving nation. Question, are former Olto-controlled areas still dangerous? Answer, absolutely, this was just the beginning. Question, are there abandoned Olto bases hidden underground? Answer, perchance. Question, does a nation discover forgotten Olto technology? Answer, yes. Question, do countries create a unified rule defense force? Answer, later in the late war, yes. Question, does peace actually last? Answer, yes, but rarely. Question, when fully upgraded DJR returns, how do the Oltos react? Answer, they'd be dumbfounded. Question, do the Oltos blame the commanders who failed? Answer, extremely rarely. Question, do they create a new anti-Keditrix weapon? Answer, no, they never fully understood it. Question, do they study why their infection failed? Answer, no, only improve, reach, try, and overcome. Question, are there Olto scientists secretly researching JD? Answer, conceivably. Question, do they create artificial infected warriors? What do you mean? Highlight this. Question, do they send spies instead of armies? Answer, mostly armadas. Question, do the Oltos reveal why they wanted DJR? Answer, to emotionally weaken JD. But because of the Deboa faction, they clearly failed. Question, are the Oltos divided internally? What do you mean? Highlight this. Question, do some Oltos disagree with the war? They usually don't disagree. They just sometimes see no use for it, and only in extremely rare cases do they begin to doubt. Question, do they discover a weakness in Keditrix? No, you cannot overcome raw determination. Question, are they afraid of JX Omnitrix Prime? The Oltowars were over way before that, but they would be absolutely petrified if they encountered them. Question, do they begin preparing Astra Oltu deployment? They never imagined a worst-case scenario that way. Question, do they recover lost Oltu weapons? Answer, who the Alu people? Yes, and use them for upgrades. The Oltos themselves? No. Question, what is the true goal of the Oltu civilization? Now, wait. Question, how does Darger react to being controlled? Answer, he was unconscious, but his subconscious only vaguely knew what was happening. Question, does Darger fear becoming infected again? Answer, no, he knows fear only brings him closer to it, but he is cautious about it. Question, does he blame himself for attacking JT? Yes. Question, does he change his fighting style? Ever so slightly. Question, what is the new 1,500 feet DJR mech's name? Answer, Dargetan or just DJR Upgrew. Question, what abilities does the upgraded DJR gain? Answer, extra height and DB energy charges. Question, Is DJR stronger than some abominations? Answer. Brutally honest? Less than 2, so overall no. Question. Does Darger create more mechs? No. Question. Do other nations ask Darger for technology? Answer. Occasionally after Oltowars. Question. Does Darger become a symbol of hope? Yes. Question. Does he struggle with his identity after the damage? Temporarily. Question. Does the new armor change his personality? No. Question. Does DJR get a Keditrix-compatible system? Highlight this. Question. Does Darger train with JD again? Yes. Question. What happens if DJR gets infected a second time? Darger wouldn't be in it for a while, so... Question. Does JD fear using Keditrix again? No. He occasionally uses it in emergencies when he needs to lock in. Question. Does JD lose control from too much motivation energy? No, he adapts. Question. Does JD unlock a new Keditrix level? Yes. Question. Does JD try to find Dave? No, but he occasionally thinks about him and wonders if he'll come back. He will. Question. Does JD question if saving everyone is possible? Only DB personnel do. Question. Is JD a leader or just a fighter? Both. Question. Do younger heroes look up to JD? They hope of him, so yes. Question. Does JD's old classic form return permanently? Answer. No, because he would become JX. Question. Does JD rebuild lost Kyro weapons? No. DB rarely does. Question. Does JD discover new abilities from Keditrix? Yes. Question. Does JD confront the Oltowars responsible? Highlight this. Question. Does JD forgive Darger completely? Yes. Question. Does JD hide how damaged he really is? Physically? No. Emotionally? Kinda, but it's obvious. Mentally? Yes. Question. Does JD prepare for an Astro Olto level threat? Get upgraded by DB and hope for an extremely rare Serta upgrade by the creator themselves.
I like my lap.
Question. What happens when JD meets an enemy stronger than him? Answer. He attempts to fight a little, but, or just retreat, or call for backup, or just go all out. Question. What planets are recovering after the Oltowars? Only Kyro. Question. Are there civilizations outside rule? Yes. Nexara, the planet outside Arbik's system, the planet Devio crashed on, and Zerto, an Arbik system. Question. Are there ancient civilizations older than the Oltowars? Yes, but the lore hasn't reached that far yet. Question. Are there abandoned Seedor creations? Yes, obviously. But no one's explored that yet. Question. Does someone investigate error zones? No. Question. Are there dangerous archived worlds? Just. Question. Does someone find Michael's abandoned creations? No. Question. Are there forgotten weapons in space? Yes. Question. What are the hidden secrets of the Arbik system? That. Question. Are there planets that survived impossible events? Yes. Question. Does someone discover a lost Dietrich fragment? Yes. Question. Are there beings above normal power tiers? Yes. Question. Are there other Seedor-level entities? Yes, but it's not just some scale for fictional entities. Question. Does another universe contact the Digiverse? Yes, but in the late Digiverse. Question. What is the next major war after the Oltowars? Answer. Not defined yet. Question. Does a new faction appear? Answer. Yes. Question. Does an enemy use abandoned Olto technology? Yes. Question. Does someone activate a forgotten weapon? Yes. Question. Does Pyros become important again? Yes, they use it to destroy Kyro. Question. Does the DX Sun crisis happen? No. Question. Does Rule face a natural disaster instead of a war? Both. Question. Does a former enemy become an ally? Yes. Question, does a hero betray the team?
Mm.
Yes. Question, does a new Titan surpass
Mm, mm,
DJR?
mm, mm.
Yes. Question, does someone recreate a stronger infected form? Yes. Question, does an enemy target emotions instead of strength? Both. Question, does the DB team split? Depends. Question, does JD retire temporarily? Yes. Question, does Darger lead his own faction? Temporarily. Question, does the Oltu Empire return stronger? Perchance. Question, do Astro Oltos finally appear? Yes, but on Nexara, and they get messed up. Question, what happens if an Oltu ship arrives? They're cooked. Question, can rules survive a civilization scale invasion? Perchance. Question, does Keditrix become common? Yes. Question, can anyone besides JD use Keditrix? Yes. Question, what happens if Keditrix fails? You're cooked and have to do it yourself, rawly. And you've got bad focus skills. Question, what is the final enemy beyond the Oltus? Yes. Question, what is the ultimate of the Gedgeverse?
Keep going.
Question, what is the final battle?
And stars. What's next? We discuss what. Let's what's next. What's next? What's next? What's next? What's next? I just